And so when I got sick with COVID, I was down for like 14 days. And in the first 7 days, Abstract Butterfinger sent me like a whole folder of beats. And so I went through those beats, I started listening, and I started writing what would become the Plague Doctor album. Because I remember I wrote two albums, because the next one, Finicom, by Deals Makes Beats in Colorado. But I wrote that record, and I wrote the other one that's coming. It's called Arcana Illative. Yeah.
Right. What was your first album, and what was your favorite song off of that?
So my first album was not a Nice Scientist record. It's Akasha Cadillac Story under that moniker. And that was my first album. It came out on a label that I partly owned called Macabre Entertainment. It's like the early 2000s. Yeah.
What was the experience like being a part of the label and working with the label at the same time?
Well, I was the vice president of the label, and I was the artist also, and I was one of the owners. So, you got to put up with a lot of different personalities, and oftentimes people being dissatisfied. It didn't last too long with me being the vice president because people kept bringing me their grievances and stuff, and I ended up stepping down. And then after my record dropped, I still wasn't, because I was trying to go into the music industry. I was trying to go commercial. And so I'm already kind of compromising the boom bap sound that I originally had as Divine Universal. So I stepped back even from the label, and I formed Illitron. Because Illitron was originally the label. And so that's how I ended up getting my record deal. But anyway, I formed Illitron, and I remember I recorded like a lo-fi record. It didn't really have a title yet, but I ended up with Illitron Bootlegs. And so I started promoting that. And so they started giving me some attention. And then what happened is one of them CDs I gave it to Ill Chemist from Blue Records. Ill Chemist went to Memphis, Tennessee. He ran to this guy named Infinito 2017. He gave the CD to Infinito 2017. In 2017, hit me up, and he said, well, we had similarities in music, so he asked me how much of the record I had done. And I said, I got 85% of it done, and I did. So what happened was I finished up the record, and then I sent it to DJ Fisher. DJ Fisher, he owned Domination Recordings. He managed Count Bass D at the time and MF Doom. And so Fisher signed me. Because I took the contract to my attorney friend that I went to high school with. He said the contract was good. So I went on to sign. And that's when that's 05, like me coming into the indie. And the record that will come out is called Illitron Magnetic. Illitron Magnetic takes its name after Ultramagnetic MCs. And so that record, when it dropped, it became a modern day hip hop classic because that record was in Herb Magazine, The Source, Double XL. Matter of fact, Do You Love Me? When it dropped, it was in Chairman's Choice for Underground Indie Hip Hop Single of the Summer, 2007.
You know a new project you about to release?
Yeah, so we got what just came out. That's called The Plague Doctor. It's an EP. And the new record, it's already done. It's called Arcana Illative. That's produced by Deals Makes Beats. But we got a new one in the fire. It's basically my acapellas from another record I was working on before that one. And then I'm doing some new recordings as well. And so that one is called Dystopian Dialect.
It's a 1984 type stuff.
That's what the Plague Doctor is on some some V for Vendetta type of shit.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's really what it is, you know what I'm saying? And that's really why I got the mask on. You know, I mean, Doom did inspire me to put it on, to be bold like that, but it's not, I don't wear it for the same reason. And it's also, when the plague doctor, I don't know if you know the history of it, but the plague doctor came along in the 18th century. The plague doctors were healers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
During the bubonic plague in Europe. Now, they came out with a movie called, what's that movie called? It's, it's a movie, it's called The Plague Doctor. It's on Netflix. But anyway, in that movie, they depict the plague doctor as being malevolent. Plague doctor is not malevolent. Plague doctor is agreeable. You know what I'm saying? And so, basically, me donning the mask, that record I made, it's a big effort to the New World Order. It's a big effort to the World Economic Forum. You know, because them two organizations there don't mean humans any good on planet Earth. Like a group of non-elected officials that have power, and they want you to bow down to them. I mean, I ain't bowing.
I respect that.
Yeah, I'm not in no way, shape, form, or fashion. So that's what the mask is like that. And it's also the shadow side of ninth scientists. Because ninth scientists without the mask still exist. But when I put the mask on, it's the plague doctor. It's ninth scientists, the plague doctor. It's a different side of myself. You feel what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
On some Batman type vibes. There's Bruce Wayne and there's Batman.
Right.
I got you.
Right.
How do you feel like your music empowers others? Because I know you talk about the rebellious nature. Do you feel like your audience gets that from your rhymes and your music?
I would hope they would, because in the music, it's a message of don't compromise yourself and who you are, your originality. Also, it's a spiritual message in my music, dealing with spirituality, with the science of Tasawwuf Sufism, you know, and that message is in there too, you know. So it's a lot of things you can discover in the music, but you gotta listen with a listening ear, and you gotta pay attention closely, you know. And if it's something, because I say a lot of things in the rhymes people don't like, words they don't understand, like using Arabic and Wolof words. But if you're intelligent, all you gotta do is get on Google. You know what I'm saying? If you see me I say the word jinn, like in this song called Dollar, and all you gotta do is just Google what I'm saying. You know, because that's the problem I had with the major labels. They told me, yeah, you dope. That's what the head of Sony Music had told me. And they was like, yeah, you dope, but we don't do that conscious stuff. So they already knew what I was trying to do and the message I was putting in the music. And for order me to be a part of that realm, I had to dumb myself down. And I said, I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I appreciate you for not being a sellout, man.
Yeah. And it's many people that I know that I have performed with in the 90s. They sold themselves short for the money. And to this day, they cannot say what I say in my rhymes. I'm not gonna name no names because some of them are well known, but they cannot say what I say in my rhymes. Period. If they do that, they'll lose everything. For real.
Man, some people gotta choose morals over money, right?
I chose morals over money.
And I respect that wholeheartedly. Before we wrap up, what words of encouragement would you give to new inspiring artists?
New inspiring artists, I would tell you to invest heavily in yourself. And you don't need major labels anymore. Like, there's no sense in going to a major label and signing to a major label and becoming a slave. Because you're not going to have control of your publishing. I own 100% of my publishing since day one. Yeah, because I took the time to read books and educate myself and not give up my publishing, because your publishing is the most important thing. Your publishing will last when you're not actively still doing music, and you can still make money from your publishing. And they make a ton of money off people's publishing, because most people that come in, they just show them some money, and they get blindsided by the money. They don't even got their publishing, and that's a bad deal. So you don't need a label. You're the label. Period. I mean, you don't need them for nothing. You don't need them for distribution. You can get your own digital distribution. You can print your own records. You know, like the new vinyl I did, I didn't even put it out on the label that I deal with. Ultra Power 45 is an indie label out of Chicago. I did it myself.
Right.
And that's because it was going to take a long time for it to come out. And even they suggested that I put it out myself. For real.
Wait, a record label told you to put it out yourself?
Yeah, they suggested to put it out yourself. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah.
Well, you heard it here, you heard it first. Now it's up to you to decide to connect or disconnect. Whatever you do, make sure you keep rolling. Until next time.
Oh, one more thing. Anybody in the crowd got any questions? No questions?
Open questions.
Go ahead.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Aside from being a plague doctor, how did you become not the seventh, not the sixth, but the ninth scientist?
Ooh, that's a long story.
I heard the wrong question.
Okay. I mean, I'll share it. So, you know, as a Muslim, I've studied other things outside of Islam as a young Muslim. And at one time, I studied with this teacher. His name is Dr. York. Some of y'all may have heard of him. And I studied with Dr. York, and back in the early to mid 90s, he had switched from Islam, and he had these pamphlets. And there's one pamphlet that came out, it's called What is Nawabu? And in the book, it talked about this science. It was called Nawabu. And Nawabu was a spiritual precept. It was a way to think, not necessarily a religion. And so what happened was, in the books, it talked about non-ether being the most potent, powerful gas in the universe. 9 to the 9th power of 9. And from that, I adopted the name, and I called myself Ninth Scientist. Because even though I'm a Muslim, I still apply sound right reasoning. Because again, sound right reasoning is not a religion, it's a way to think. You get what I'm saying? You know, you can use it in every aspect of your life because it's based on 3 tests: 1, experience; 2, evidence; and 3, reasoning. In Arabic, we call reasoning aql. And so I still use it to this day, and that's how I ended up calling myself a nice scientist.
No doubt.
But the original science of Nawapu is before even Dr. York, with a man named Afro Uno. And he's really the originator of that science. But Dr. York took it and used it without citing where he got it from. And so later on I discovered that Afro Uno was behind that, because I have his original writings in my possession at home as well. But yeah, so that's the story of that.
All right. Any more questions? All right. I think we're going to conclude my podcast for the day. I enjoy my audience, and I hope y'all have some more Vibes coming in soon. It's the last about to perform here. And enjoy the show. It's coming. Till next time.
All right.
Cow top means shiffer.